Dan, Brad, what you got in store for him today?
Thank you very much, Scott. We have an amazing presentation in the Q&A, and I know we've said this a lot, but really there's quite a bit of things rather, that we're going to be showing everybody. Brad, how's your audio, good buddy?
You sound good to me, my friend. I can see your screen as well.
Okay, fantastic. Well, let's run into the presentation. We've got a great one, probably going to last about 35, 40 minutes today, so it won't be too long. But before we get started, the standard disclaimer: Trade Ideas is not a registered investment advisor. If you're seeking specific investment advice tailored to your portfolio, please consult a registered investment advisor. So with that said, let's get started. For those of you that don't know about Trade Ideas and are new, we're first of all really glad that you guys are taking a look at this presentation and coming to our webinar. One of the things that we do completely differently that you're not going to see anywhere else, you're not going to see it in any other vendor, whether it's TradeStation, FinViz, I mean, I could name a bunch of them, but we are alone, the lone wolf, in real time alert generation that is then used as potential signals for you to trade. And I'm going to make the transition where you're going to see what's going on, how we do all of this, but Brad created the slide a little bit a while ago. And just to give you an idea here, you see messages that have a timestamp. And you can see, Brad, is my mouse visible? I'll make sure.
Yeah, we can see your mouse move. You bet.
Okay. So, and again, because we have so many people that are new here, just trying to give you an example. Imagine this, and the chart is a description, okay? So, crossing yesterday's high. So as soon as that happens, see there's a timetable over here on the right at the bottom, and as soon as this happens, you get a notification. And what we do is we stream these notifications to you. You can do so much with this software, but the beauty is, and we will show this beauty to you, is that you don't have to really know how to do anything because the software runs itself. Okay, so think about that for a minute. There's not a big learning curve because you can get very advanced with it. I mean, there's things that you can do. In fact, this is designed to be your platform for life because you can learn how to do things on your own. You can design your own testing and all these environments that are, let's say, more advanced than normal. Just like you can imagine, an Olympic athlete uses the gym, but so does somebody who wants to just start working out. So consider it that way. We have this sort of gym environment, and we have the trainer for you to take you through all of these things. So all of this that you see here is just high-level descriptions. You see icons. There's ways to filter it. And sorry, Tom, it sounded like my mic was pretty good, but I'm not sure. Brad, are you hearing any feedback?
Yeah, you sound fine.
Okay. Sorry, Tom, maybe adjust your settings a little bit. But the point of this is, this first slide is just simply to show you all the different things that you can do. You will learn how to do it, and I'm going to kind of just jump into some of the really amazing highlights. Let's just go right there. I'm going to escape from here. Okay, and there's more information that we can show you. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to showcase to you our platform. And I'm going to really explain in one picture that should say 1,000 words why it is that Trade Ideas is growing on the Inc. 5000 list of private, fastest growing US companies. So what do we have, again, that's different from everybody else? And let me tell you guys something else for the new people. And we're going to bridge it all together. One of the biggest mistakes that individual investors make, and we help them avoid this mistake, is they think that the stock market is easy and that it's some sort of get-rich-quick scheme. Brad, you've heard me preach this before.
Well, it's anything but easy, and you have to work very hard and diligently at it to be able to pull capital out of the market.
Absolutely. But let me give you just some high-level examples because I want you guys to really take this information and process it after this podcast, after this webinar, so that you can understand, again, the value that we are trying to bring to the table, okay? So when you're a doctor, first of all, you have to be a really good student, then you have to go to medical school and you pass your medical exams. But once you get your medical exam, like your board certification, and you passed all this stuff to be a doctor, you realize that, especially I'm going to use an example as a surgeon. So, as you start to want to become a surgeon, well, guess what happens? You don't immediately are given a person to operate on and, you know, okay, fix this guy, you're a surgeon, you pass the test. No. You go into what is called residency, where you watch and you learn from another surgeon who's been at it for a long time, and this person is your expert, okay? So one of the biggest problems that we are trying to fix with trade ideas and help you understand how to improve everything is that people quickly get into the market, they jump right into it with real money and expect to start making money right away without really understanding that there's so much emotional implication to managing a portfolio and working the positions. And that's why I'm bringing this example of the resident doctor looking at an expert. So what you're seeing here right now, okay, is the Trade Ideas channel bar. This is our platform. It's called Trade Ideas Pro. And this is the Trade Ideas channel bar. And this is like your Netflix for the stock market. And I'm going to take you through a bunch of different things here, but you can see all the different things. But for the premium subscribers, the ones that really are taking it to the next level, we have your doctor who's the expert, which is our artificial intelligence. It's right here, okay? And these were all of the signals that were generated by the artificial intelligence. And you can see the entry times. This is West Coast time, okay? You can see the symbol. You can see which direction it went and what happened. And the beauty is that now we have an environment called our paper trading environment, where you can practice all of this, much like a surgeon practices on a cadaver. And I'm just showing this to you. So this is all your portfolio. You can play around with it. You can do amazing things with it. This is all in paper trading mode. So this is not just your idea generation, but this is also where you practice. If you're a surgeon, this is your cadaver, okay, where you're working your skills without risking capital. As you see it in my presentation as we move forward, the premium cost of Trade Ideas subscription is approximately $2,000 a year. Okay, considering medical school costs like $50,000, you're talking about a completely different opportunity to learn something and profit. So one of the things that we've been trying to do is to help people pair their expectations so that they understand the proper way to enter, exit the market. And one of the best things that you can do with Trade Ideas is to invest in yourself. Give yourself like 4 or 5 or 6 months or even a year. You should actually give yourself more, where you're working on your technique without actually necessarily putting real money on the line. Okay, obviously we have many customers who all they do is really trade their own capital, and it's their own money. And because again, just like a gym is used by professional athletes, many people use Trade Ideas as idea generation and risk management and all that stuff. But a lot of new people are coming in here because look at what just happened, ladies and gentlemen. The markets just went to zero commission. And Brad, you know, we've always been ahead of the game. We've always given people more opportunities. Well, now you really can take advantage of these opportunities knowing that there isn't a price attached to them. You can try something. If it goes a little bit against you, you can get out, and you're not continually paying the toll booth that you used to pay with brokerage commissions. This is
there's a learning curve associated with developing a style and a technique to trading. And you know, with that learning curve, if you're putting real money on the line, oftentimes that comes with a drawdown in your account. So it's nice to be able to have some tools that allow you to hone and refine those skills without, you know, risking the capital.
Like, how could you really just, again, as a professional, as somebody who has some capital that they have put aside, that they're able to put into risk capital, how do you recklessly just jump into the market knowing that it's full of sharks like myself and Brad and a lot of the other team members at Trade Ideas who've been at this game for a long time and know how to work our capital, know how to control our emotions. If you guys are a little bit older, there was a really good scene in this movie called Rounders. Brad, do you remember that movie? Ancient.
A little bit.
And this scene is really about exactly what I'm talking about, because all of the pros were sitting around the table and they were looking around at each other and they're like, guys, it's all us. What are we doing here? There's no, weekend warriors to take advantage of. This is boring, And the joke is, for you guys that are new, again, especially the ones that aren't subscribers to Trade Ideas, if you're thinking about doing this, and you should, because I'm going to give you some reasons why you should do it. You control your future. It's ultimately an incredible ride. So let's jump into real quick, because again, I'm going to get into a lot of the other stuff, but I'm going to jump into why do people subscribe to premium Trade Ideas. Okay, this is going to be one picture will tell you 1,000 words. Here it is. So our software makes calls. First of all, we are the only software in the market that actually, the software is like, hey, do this. Because why are we the only ones like that? Because, well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? It's risky to make calls, because when you make calls, Brad, what can you do? You can lose on the call. And everybody's afraid to lose. Losing is scary to people. And we don't like it either, mind you. We don't like it at all. But we aren't afraid because we have the advantage of statistical analysis. So let me just dial this in a little bit so that everyone can see it really good. Is everyone able to see my screen clearly? Everything visible?
Yeah, you see it.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, a picture tells 1,000 words, okay? Let me just expand here. What makes us so compelling that we are on the Inc. 5000 list of fastest growing companies? Now, mind you, obviously, this is not what happens every single day with the software. But today just happened to have been because it knew that Brad and I were going to be doing the Q&A, and the software, Brad, does it like us or what?
It's not always as generous to us, is it?
It's not always generous, but it sure was generous today. Okay, so first of all, I mean, there's lots of amazing things that I want to discuss specifically as it relates to this specific call. So number one, at 7:51 a.m. Pacific time, which is about an hour and 20 minutes after the open. So again, get your mind through this, where you don't have to be doing some sort of crazy strategy where it's super complicated and you got to be there at the open and whatever. No. Here it is, you're an hour and 20 minutes in, and you get a signal that says, buy IC, that's, what's the name of this thing? Yes, Iverico Bio Inc. Okay, that's the name. Iverico Bio Inc. Buy it at $2.75. Okay, that's the AI suggested entry price. And as soon as that happens, by the way, you see this arrow and a line. So you can always see where you are in the stock price relative to the entry that the AI made. So let's just walk through a little bit of what happened here. This is a 5-minute chart. And this is the situation where a picture tells 1,000 words, okay? So you get in on this candle, we're buying it at 275, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, not a lot going on. Then boom, a pop. And it goes quickly from 275 to $3, which by the way is a pretty large percentage gain. Okay, as you can see, the overall gain for this particular call was 29%. Okay, 29. And by the way, Brad, what's it doing after hours?
Yeah, really showing some strength after hours. Continued strength, rather.
All right. Notice I just adjusted this, okay? But we don't even need to worry about that right now. We don't know what it's going to do in the morning. We're just talking about what happened today. So you got in right here at 7:51, 5, 10, 15, and you were up pretty big, but what happened after that, Brad? What happened in the next 15 minutes?
Yeah, in the next 15, it proceeded to pull back pretty consistently back to the original
Entry price.
original entry
So
price.
if you were just watching it, hypothetically speaking, and you didn't get in here, what is this right here? What happened here? This is what you would call an opportunity to get what? Back into it. Because again, we can't control exactly what you do, but we're trying to tell you that it's not some sort of race. You know, I am the Flash, you've got to be this super fast speed trader. That's not exactly the way the AI was designed. And that's not what we ever wanted to do. In other words, sometimes the signal, what is the software trying to do, ladies and gentlemen? The software is using mathematical prevailing winds. It's looking at, for example, it saw, when it looked at ICE, why did you get an entry signal here, by the way, okay? Well, it's been watching it all throughout this. The difference between Trade Ideas and every other software is that it had no other reason for you to get into this stock when it was doing this. But all of a sudden, boom, it had something happen on 10/28. Brad, it kind of landed on the software's radar because this behavior, the software views it as very unusual. Wouldn't you? I mean, you can just look at it on the chart.
I mean,
right?
it's absolutely, it was a huge percentage gap up. It's held that gap, had tremendous volume. You can see by the volume bars down at the bottom. So the relative volume is super extreme. And you can see today, based on your single stock window, one of the great components and great filters that we have is for analysis is relative volume. And anything that's pulling in 75, that's 75 times its normal volume at that point in time during the day. So pretty significant factor.
It is. But notice, not on this day or on this day did the AI do anything. Why? Well, have you guys ever thought about surfing a tsunami? The idea is that sometimes just because something looks like an opportunity to you, when the AI is processing where this has gone on and then what's happened here, the volatility is so high. As a ultimate professional speculator, the AI doesn't think to itself, you know, I'm going to get in here. And again, it doesn't mean that it's always right. It's just creating mathematical prevailing winds and looking at them in a way that a human really can't do. So then today happens. And once again, if you look at today, it gapped up pretty big, but the AI only bought it here. I mean, it almost looked like if you were looking at it, you'd be like, oh man, their AI is late, Brad. I mean, a lot of people would be scared to buy it here. And this is, by the way, why you must paper trade to learn how to do the skill of the ultimate market surgeon, okay? But it turns out that's not the case, because now as we look at it more in the detail here, and again, what a beautiful, beautiful thing it did all day today. So you have this entry, and pretty much you had a re-entry possibility here if you had missed it. But from this point on, look at what it proceeded to do thereafter. It continued higher all day. And the reason why I'm speaking about this and I'm pointing it out is because many times people have this notion that in order to succeed in the market, it requires some sort of trickery or some sort of super fast something or other that, you know, the regular people don't have. But we are telling you that is not the case. We're telling you this information is here. You can act on it, and these are 5-minute candles. So it's not like you do 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40 minutes after this call, you could have gotten this call. I love that. And then it continues to go higher, reaching a high of 325 right around, you know, 10:30 in the morning Pacific time, okay? And then what does it do, Brad? It pulls back. Pulls back, not
nicely
quite
to the moving average, by the way. That's a 50 period, so really held that nicely.
That's right. And then after it did a pullback, and this is just the ebbs and flow of supply and demand, it continued to trade higher for the entire day, finishing off with almost a 30% gain. Okay, and let me explain to you why this is 909 shares, 167, 118, and so on. In our software, whoops, sorry about that. You have this options section where you can view the AI the way you are most comfortable viewing it. What I mean by that is, what do you typically plan on doing? Let's say that you're going to start small and you're only going to, in every trade that you see, you're only going to put in $1,000. Okay, you can hit apply, save, and watch what happens. Okay, so this is the kind of share size that you would be buying if you were spending $1,000 per each trade. Look how little, 30, 28, 31, 57, 19, because it's a $52 stock. Okay, so all I did was simply adjust it a little bit to where, I mean, this is still pretty conservative, but $2,500 per position. And that's how you get the share sizes that you see here. 909 because it's a small stock. And Brad, one of the things I love here, you know, is even at $2,500, right? Look at how small your share size is on some of the bigger names. It really allows you to focus your risk on, with the reward, if I'm saying it the right way. I mean, you're here, you're hoping that the bigger gains come from the smaller stocks, which is typically the case, because how often do you guys see a 78% move in Tesla or Google or Netflix or Apple? You don't see it at all. That doesn't happen. So let me pause for a minute here and let you guys kind of absorb something else. Brad, I'm going to ask you a silly question. What's the percentage gain for this thing right now?
The percentage gain for this thing right now, do you mean after hours? Do you mean?
Yeah, I mean, Brad, what do you see on the screen?
It's up 78% right now.
Okay. This should already dispel many of your preconceived notions about the stock market. Most of you, just like ourselves, like my Brad and everybody else that works here, what do you, like when Brad, if you're talking about mainstream market knowledge, you know, what people say is the thing. What do you hear about what's a good return in the stock market? What have they taught your brain?
Boy, if you could get 3%, 4%,
you betcha,
5%, you're doing great.
But when? Is that for the day?
No, absolutely not. It's for the year. For the year.
Okay, let's think about this. And again, remember what I said before, Trade Ideas, this little old company, myself and little old Brad and Scott and Steve and Barry that we run. One of the fastest growing Inc. 5000 companies, private companies in the United States. The reason that we are is because we are here to break spells. We remove the preconceived notions by showing you real data. I mean, if you don't believe what I'm showing you here, you can look this up on Yahoo Finance or Google or anywhere else. You had a single stock that went up 76% in one day. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why people are in the stock market, why the stock market, the US stock market, is one of the best places to allocate your capital. Let's just talk about it real quick. Brad, are you going to get a 76% gain in real estate?
You're certainly not getting, well, I mean, maybe over a long period of time. You could.
Over a long period of time, but not in a day.
Not in a day.
You're not going to get it in Bitcoin. I mean, that thing is very volatile and it's been all over the place, and I know everyone's excited about it. But listen, Bitcoin is not going up 76% in a day.
No, although it did just wake up again.
Again, did it? Oh, that's good. I have some, so that's nice. But my point is, right, when people see this, they right away try to like, well, wait a minute, what's going on here? What's wrong here? Well, why did I not know about this? Maybe this thing only traded 1,000 shares. Nope, 21 million. That means lots of players were involved here. Okay, lots and lots
But
of
you
players.
can easily get in and easily get out as well.
Right. In other words, we're trying to tell you is what they have been telling you about the stock market is, okay, don't touch it, let other people do it. Yes, you can give your money to other people. In fact, I mean, of course, professionally, I also have a 401k and everything else. But that 401k, it's not going to get you this, ever. So that's the choice that you have to make. And that's why a lot of investors are simply understanding that we are at a different level. You're not going to get a call on FinViz, Stock Fetcher, Stock to Trade, or Stock Charts, every other stock, whatever thing that I think are our competitors, TC2000, TradeStation. You're not going to get these calls because they don't have our technology. This is where we differentiate ourselves. So this is our AI. This is our premium product, and what a great way to introduce it to all the people that are here for the first time, who are probably smartly thinking to themselves, now that commissions are free, maybe I should figure out how to work this thing called the stock market. Okay, so and notice I can right click here, and right away I can say trade, so that this can go right into your practice portfolio, or a real one, mind you, because we also connect to the market in real time. But I'm saying that you can instantly act on things graphically. It's not complicated. And I just want to make sure you guys see what is possible. This is the Trade Ideas advantage, this call right here. And in case you weren't aware, by the way, we're not a one-trick pony. This is another call today. Look at it. Different game, different volume. This is 145,000 shares versus 21 million. But yet, even at 145,000 shares, if you're buying what I did here, Brad, 167, no problem getting in and out. 5% gain in a day.
Yeah.
Okay. And very interesting.
Click on that loser as well, Dan. Like, just to show that the way that we illustrate this information on a chart, Zine, Z-Y-N-E. Click on that guy.
Okay.
So this position here happened to be stopped out, right? And you could continue to stay in it, but we're showing you visually here what happens when that stock actually passes through the stop level right there. So we give you the stop level in red, visually giving you that range. And so you can see, we're giving you risk protection controls with all of these ideas as well. So you're not just going to get in this thing and stay in it. We want to make sure that you're also aware of the protective stops and other measures that we have in place here.
And all of this is already done for you automatically. One of the really cool things about our software, and I'll discuss this as we showcase some other channels in a minute, is that we always wanted to create an environment where you have the game plan embedded in the software. In other words, this software makes you not need to take a guru training course. We have the embedded education inside the software graphically, and this is something that no one can else replicate because we own the tech.
And this just happens to be one channel on our Netflix-esque channel bar, which is really kind of a remote control to the market. A lot of different workspaces, a lot of different ideas are presented to you, but this right here is a very curated idea using statistics as its benchmark.
Right. It's kind of the creme de la creme of our premium software. And again, we'll get into the pricing and all this later, but this is just something that you cannot get anywhere else. You've got the whole game plan. In other words, we don't hide when we lose money, guys. See this? I mean, we're not hiding it. The losses are part of the game plan. But it's wonderful when you have this kind of a gain, and even if this wasn't here, right? If you take away this 30, it still would have been a nice 4% gain here and a 3% gain here. All good. This is the advantage of having a digital virtual trading assistant always at your beck and call. That's not a guru that you can't scale, bring with you, and follow. I mean, this is one of the things, Brad, that's bothered me so much about the financial education market. And that is that ultimately people always come to the same conclusion, which is you can listen, a trading education service is not like Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson always having their coach with them working, you know, at the driving range and giving them the feedback. It's in essence much more different, because what you are, it's like you're playing golf with Tiger and Phil Mickelson. I'm using these two guys hopefully as an example that you can understand. But if you were playing golf with Tiger and Phil, number one, you would quickly start feeling bad about yourself, Brad. You know you would, very quickly. And if you were trying to imitate them, Brad, could you?
Only in your mind.
Right, because you just don't have the skill set. You know, and that's what we are looking to augment, what we're looking to change about the whole industry. We're changing the way you perceive this because we've got your coach, Hank Haney. And again, this is for assuming that a lot of people here are old enough to know golf. Brad, who's the Butch Harmon, right? Butch Harmon is the coach that trains many of the golf's top players. And I could be aging myself once again, but I don't even know if he's still doing it. But assuming that he is.
He is.
Okay, he is. The point is, this is your Butch Harmon. You know, he's looking at the things, but he's saying, you okay, take a look at this. I'm already embedding all the things that you need to know. Notice the target price. It's here. It's telling you, okay, if you hit a target, Brad, do you know why we have targets here? Because what we're saying to people is this. If you make an immense amount in one day, it's probably not a bad idea to take a little bit. Sure, today you can get lucky where it opens up and it's up another whatever, you know, 20, 30, maybe even 100%. But how often have you come in contact with, let me show you this. Okay, here, look at this thing. Again, this is just a cautionary tale. Let me remove some of this, just so you guys. Another high flyer.
Yeah, sure looked good 2 weeks ago, huh?
Right, and behaving very similarly. Vladimir, absolutely. RAI is not as expensive as Butch Harmon. That guy's, maybe we should charge more. But notice, okay, I'm going to do it real quick. So this is BNGO, another genomics pharmaceutical kind of a name, right? And do you guys not notice the similarities? Let me go back to here, boom, and then go to BNGO. Again, most of you, if you're new, you probably have never even heard of these names, okay? But look at the immense volatility. This went from 58 cents to $4.68, and not on small amounts of volume. And then
boy, based on that 3-day move after the gap up, I think tomorrow's going to be a pretty down day in IC if it's the same type of action, right? I mean,
it could be. We don't know. But what I was saying is that just like in this one, there's a reason why we give you a target. Take some off the table. Notice again, the game plan is given to you. How many technology providers are giving you a fully embedded education system inside the software? Zero. Zero. You can look all around. We are your only vendors with an AI virtual trading assistant and a virtual and a visual game plan embedded inside, and with calls that work. Again, we're proving it. We can't go back. Can't fake this. We are doing it. I mean, you can see it. Again, we also make mistakes, but we show you everything that we do so you can see it. And that is why every single thing has risk parameters so that you can walk through any stock. So then now, by the way, Steve and Barry, you'll enjoy the show here because we're going to show you, Brad and I, we're constant, just like HBO or Netflix, since we are the producers, we have this channel bar, okay? And this channel bar is a bunch of different things happening in the market in different ways to suit different people. So let's go, for example, just to give you an idea, of after hours. I clicked on the after hours channel. Brad, what is the after hours channel?
the after hours channel is really looking at the change of a stock that's happening post market, something that's moved inordinately during the post market, or has had some big volume during the post market.
Do you know many people that actually keep track of a post market percentage P&L? I don't. Notice this, ladies and gentlemen, this is a unique data point. One of the big differentiators of our technology is that we create and maintain unique data points. This is the change post-market. In other words, we clock the close, and then we're tracking it post-market. And here your OLED is doing something post-market. Would you like to know why? Well, you can kind of take a look at this nice little column right here. Brad, what does it say?
Well, it's letting you know that it's reported earnings after hours here today. And as a result of that is obviously great information for the stock, or great news for the stock.
Correct. So this is another great place where in the after hours section, you can take a look and find things that are related to earnings and be able to be ahead of the competition, because what you can do is, I mean, look at this move. Let me see here. Do we add, how do you add?
Yeah, so that's a daily chart. And because it's a daily chart, we're not building the bar for the data post-market, but you can see where that green highlight is. It says 250 cents. So that's letting you know where it's trading. Tomorrow that bar will be built. But yeah, you don't build it with post-market data.
Right, and you can see it. Here it is. So one of the other really cool things that you can do, okay, is that Trade Ideas allows you to alert yourself to things. Like, for example, since I missed this, right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to say, okay, approaching resistance. Okay, now I can do this and I can move this around. I mean, here it is at 200. But I'm going to go like right here, this 220 level where we were before, and I'm going to let myself know that over here, I might start potentially nibbling on a little bit of downside action as it ran up really quick, and I can imagine that other people who have gone from here to here in a very short amount of time could possibly be thinking the same thing. So it's not only just that we set all this stuff where you can interact with this information yourself by pressing alerts. I mean, creating these price alerts. Very shortly, they will be notifications that will go to your phone and your email, and you'll have a lot of freedom to work with them on all sorts of different devices. So since we kind of touched upon OLED hitting earnings, again, notice every single thing do some really cool things. You, number one, can see when the earnings are. You can see what the insiders are doing. You can read about what the company does. And again, even this is all configurable, but we do it for you so that you don't have to. We changed the earnings channel today. We modified it to improve on a bunch of different stuff. So let's take a look. What I want to do here is, Brad, I want to add a field of change after. I guess it doesn't really matter, but here we probably should have added the change post-market, right? Or no, here it is, sorry. Okay, so these are all of your gigantic winners from earnings. So this is called reporting this afternoon. These are the ones that reported today. So, and you can see how well they're doing. So here's another one, INXP. Now this is a tiny, tiny little one, you know, a little bitty stock. But, you know, if you're a player of these tiny little stocks, I mean, it's up 17%. And once again, it's a different, a different environment for different percentages and different people. You know, look at all the different stock prices. AXTI, here it is, gapping up. Semiconductor. So these are all of your kind of earnings blowouts. These are the people that are beating their earnings. Facebook reported earnings this afternoon, obviously. Here it is, and here they are, almost back to highs. I believe this was close to the high, 199. So you have lots of different ones, from the tiny little ones to the big boys, all on a percentage basis. Every column we have is sortable. So you can really look at things that are expensive, if you care, not expensive. You have an amazing array of tools at your disposal, but the most important thing, really, is the fact that you have an ability to practice all of this using our paper trading interface. Notice here, Brokerage Plus. This is what connects trade ideas to really finalize your education in the stock market, okay? So I maintain and practice my swing trading. This is my swing trading practice environment. Now this is just today's P&L graph, but you can see since I've been doing this, you know, what all the open and closed P&Ls are. So I can see like what really hurt me today is of course Facebook, because I was shorted in my swing, in my practice. And through this practice, I learn new things. Again, this is just like my example of the driving range. I'm getting better. I am understanding what works, what doesn't work, and why it is that I'm behaving the way that I'm behaving, so that I can improve my real performance and not get caught in these kinds of situations, okay? So this is all paper, and this is what you should be doing and using, and we will have a whole curriculum to help you work with this. But once again, how much is your position up overall? I have a Caterpillar position that I'm up 12 points in. So my two biggest winners, Twitter and Caterpillar, are bigger than my two biggest losers, which is kind of good. That's sort of where you want to go. And overall, I'm up 6,000, although today was the big hit because of the Facebook. And man, this is paper, so I'm practicing. You know, this is my practice to get me better. Here's where I am at the driving range. And you know, do you know how much time Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson spent at the driving range? Brad, do you know?
A tremendous amount of time. I don't know exactly, no.
but it is a very large amount of time, because they know how much you need to practice. Notice the buttons that we have here: reversing a position, doubling down, half, you know, like on that ISEE, when you hit the target, boom, take half, so that you don't have to think about too much.
You know, we really need to do a webinar just entirely on Brokerage Plus, because, you know, any one of these components we could have spent the whole hour on, whether it's a top list window or an alert window or Brokerage Plus. But there's so much functionality in Brokerage Plus, not only just from a paper trading perspective, but different ways to put positions on and different ways to automate that for you, or to not automate it, but to assist you in doing it, so that just a right click entering into a position puts on a stop, it puts on a target, puts on a time expiration for it, all of these things. So there's just a lot of stuff to it, and you can start off using this right from the beginning without knowing these nuances, but if you spend a little bit of time with the software, you really do get an advantage and an understanding of some of the really neat nuances that exist.
Well, let me then, Brad, again, for the new people who are listening here, one of the cool things about this paper trading is that it lets you practice automating your strategy, so that, again, you're less emotional about it, right? And again, while we're not going to get into exactly how to do it, but you can set up like, hey, when I see this, I want to buy it, and this is the stop, and I don't want to do it myself. Just do it. Manage it for me mathematically, and it will do it for you. And again, we have lots of curriculum activity going on all throughout the day.
Yeah, and that would be the back testing component that you would use to refine and to optimize and to really understand what your expectations are in the automation of a strategy. So all of these tools are available in this, what we call Trade Ideas Pro platform.
Yep. I mean, right now, again, this is an introduction, and we're only scratching the surface. Here's another really cool thing that we do, and I'm going to show it to you. And I'm going to show you a couple of things here. Notice where my mouse is, and watch what's going to happen. Okay, so do you guys notice that I'm not clicking on anything? And yet, the software is driving. This is called idea surfing, and it's one of the biggest innovative pushes forward that we do, because as you guys know, what hinders an individual is they just don't know what to even look at or why they're looking at it. So our software automatically, whenever you go to any channel or anything, it starts to show you ideas. And as soon as you like something, number one, you can press this little thing and it goes into your heart, like my stocks I like. That's a customized view of the market. But notice how this automatically says I'm paused, okay? So it's paused because it knows that I'm interested. When I go away and I move over here, it's going to start going again. And there it is. Every column we have is sortable. So you can find out, well, what's really like, you know, what's strong over here? What's looking good? Okay, Facebook, you know, big gap up. CCXI, also strong. And you can start going and telling yourself, like I'm going to say, CCXI, I like this thing. You know, look right here. See this? It gapped down and traded all the way down. And by the way, our software is also used for swing trading. Don't think it's just for day trading. Look at this. Okay, and we're going to be talking about that as well. But I'm going to come over here, right click and say, filling the gap. So I'm notifying myself that this thing, and I can again adjust it however I want here. I can just go right here. I can say this thing is really continuing because whatever caused people to bail on it here, where they're coming right back here, which means that's going to cause these people to think that they were dumb and maybe want to get back into it. And this is a psychology game. You're playing on the emotions of other people. Don't mess with my emotions, Smokey. It is really a unique piece of technology that you're just not going to find anywhere else, and partly, again, specifically because of what I'm showing you here, the automated idea generation. So this channel, this whole channel, every single person that trade ideas that goes to any stock. So I can go to, for example, this earnings channel that I was just on, okay? And I can start looking at this. I'm like, oh, BGFV. That looks interesting. I like it. When I go back, because Big Five Sporting Goods, when I go back to the stocks that I like, another one. Now, these stocks will appear there. Here it is. I didn't like it until just now, and now it's here. It's following you, okay? It is following you. So this is what we want you to kind of understand as you're thinking about and evaluating coming to the table. Now that we're in a zero commission environment, there's no excuse, okay? You've got the paper trading. You've got your driving range. You've got Butch Harmon right here teaching you what to get into, what to get out of. And by the way, just again, as I show you some, just one more thing here. You know, we also track social media, of course, what's being talked about a lot on social media. And everything you see, you can kind of make little inferences on. You can just say, is it turning around? Oh, now I've got this, and if it does, I'll be alerted to it. Okay? You can see exactly what's going on, but let me show you something else. So, let me zoom out here. I'll pick a little bit of stock that's easier to follow. Okay, here we go. Remember, this is sort of the end of my presentation as we are approaching the hour mark, but I want you to see these dotted lines right here? One is called a smart stop and the other one's called a profit target. So anytime you look at any single stock, our software assumes you're about to get into it, okay? It's already making this assumption. You're about to get into it. And it's saying that even though it's not recommending to do it, but if it did, like if the software was forced to get into it, what mathematical areas would it use as stops and profit targets? Your game plan for every stock. So let me pull up something like Snapchat. Notice. here. Here's your smart stop, and we're probably just, I think you can change the time frame to like 15, and the profit target's above the screen. But you can see, again, this is where, so if you're getting in at 488, the software's saying 462, I don't like it, okay? Smart stop, profit target. Your game plan is embedded inside. Think about that for a minute, ladies and gentlemen. IBM. Here's your profit target. Here's your smart stop based on math. Okay. And again, of course, you can kind of work around it, make your own inferences, but no matter which stock you get into, here's your risk. It's being done for you. You don't have to think about it. Okay. And that's really the differentiating factor between Trade Ideas and every other vendor around. So there's tons of different windows. Again, I'm back into our PowerPoint presentation. I'm just going to go really quick here. You've seen all of this. Here's the smart stop, the profit target. Notice over here, there's another exit. If you're more of a long-term player, see, there's even a swing exit. So that means that, look, this is kind of like your daily stuff, but if you're going to be holding it, this is below this level, that's where potentially you see a free fall. Okay. As I was doing, you can set alerts. You saw my visual alerts right here. I was showing you this. Well, here's a whole list of all of your stuff, and you can see what's working and what's not working. Remember, there's a curriculum for all of this, all throughout the week of Trade Ideas. You can test strategies, but ultimately what our AI brings to the table to our premium subscribers is the automation of this testing. In other words, we run these simulations on our server. We give you the ability to not have to do this, to our premium subscribers, to not have to do it at home, and we do it all for you. And it's this kind of analysis, this graph, that gave you the ICEE 29% gain today. That's the differentiating factor. Okay, now you're seeing Brokerage Plus and automated trading. You can connect this right now to ID, and it will trade and do everything for you. So this is all real. You can paper trade. We're going to change this graphic, but right now this is real live market data. These were all real trades. But for the beginners, spend some time paper trading. You should not be afraid of spending a year of $2,000 premium subscriptions to learn how to do the craft, so that when you start actually trading real money, you're way ahead of the game. And again, and you can dabble a little bit with smaller size. Again, because commissions are zero now, there's no barrier to entry. But if you're really going to start working on the craft, paper trading is the residency for your surgery. It's your cadaver. It's your driving range. Okay. One of the coolest things that we've got going on, of course, is a test drive where you get premium Trade Ideas for 2 weeks. It's our only one that we've done for 2 weeks. And it's trade-ideas.com test drive, and it's only $8.99. But that's, again, that's for people that are somewhat focused on the money, and we're not against that. That's why we offer it, November 11th and 22nd. But if you're very serious about investing, and you know what we just showed you, the kind of potential that's in the stock market, every day you're not engaging, you're simply just wasting time, your own important time. So take advantage of this test drive, or get onto it now, because again, you're not going to see what we show you from any other vendor. But this is the date, and this is the link, trade-ideas.com/test drive. So how much does Trade Ideas cost? Okay, we have different platforms. The standard one costs $3.90 a day if you're going monthly, and $2.90 a day if you're doing it on an annual basis. I mean, guys, ladies and gentlemen, it's just ridiculous. And the premium with the AI, if you're doing it month to month, is $7.50 a day, and $6.20 a day if you're doing it annually. That's just why so many people just opt for the year. It's probably one of our most popular kind of opportunities. And there's a promo code today, Harvest Wins, 15% off your first month or a year off Trade Ideas. So let me go back real quick. Harvest wins, 15% off. Barry Anderson, who's here today, has a trading room that he helps people all throughout the day. A lot of you were asking, well, how do you do this? How do you do that? There's a whole community of Trade Ideas users and also people who are just involved in the markets who interact with us. And they're in Barry's trading room. He's the moderator and really helps you find opportunities. You can witness and see all the different styles that can work in the market on how to manage your risk and entries and exits in Barry's room. Myself and my good friend Jamie Hodge, who's not here today on this Q&A, but we do a Trade Ideas Friday podcast. Search for that on your podcast search engine. And we usually break feature functionalities and all kinds of things like that on the podcast first. And try to keep it humorous, but keep you abreast of what's going on. Lots of information to help you get started that's free. So trade-ideas.com/setup, different books that we've published ourselves to help you understand some of the key components to trading, and they're free. So the idea is to help everybody get involved. So you can click on that link and see all the different things that you can do, and they're available for you at your leisure. And we're very easy to get a hold of. There's 3 social media Twitter handles at Trade Ideas, at QuantBot, and at Today Trader. Please like us on Facebook, and of course you can call us or send us an email at info@trade-ideas.com. Brad, did I miss anything?
Pretty comprehensive, my friend. Nope, you got it all.
I think that's it.
Yeah, I think that covers it. Everyone stay tuned tomorrow for an email from GoToWebinar with a link to the playlist where you can find that video, and remember to sign up for the test drive. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Take care.